In parts of the Abbeyleix Bog, off the beaten track and rarely seen by visitors, something extraordinary is happening. A raised bog, one which originally took millennia of natural processes to form, is slowly coming back to life. Landscapes that were worked for decades by local hands to extract precious resources are now being tended by those same hands. This time for very different reasons. This work, managed by international experts and local volunteers alike, and which will continue for decades to come, is allowing for the creation of one of the most colourful, diverse, and otherworldly landscapes in Ireland. The cutover refers to the areas of bog that were historically harvested for turf, used primarily for heating homes of local families. The harvesting was by hand and small scale, and the impact limited to edges of the bog. More extensive turf harvesting took place during World War II for use in Dublin, which resulted in much bigger areas of cutover, especially near the railway line. In the late 90s, a large network of drains were excavated across the bog in anticipation of commercial harvesting, but the harvesting never took place. The cutover is now an essential area of the bog. Where the drier areas provide more opportunities for a diverse range of plants and wildlife. In high summer, the first thing you will notice is a beautiful minty smell in the air. This comes from the water mint. Which thrives in the damp areas of the grassland. Also, in high summer, the pink and white heads of different orchids are very obvious. There are several species here, including the perfectly named fragrant orchid, and the spotted orchid. Every orchid on the bog merits a closer look, but please be careful, as these delicate plants can be easily killed off through trampling or picking. Another group of plants that are very obvious here are the sedges. This group of plants is often overlooked, as people think they are grasses. They are in fact a separate botanical group. most often found in damp or shady places, such as woodlands, fens, marshes, and bog edges. They often form graceful tussocks of long leaves that feel much more rigid than the average grass leaf, which is much softer. In spring and summer, their fruiting heads delicately droop over the path edges. In early summer, this area is also rich with the pale blooms of the cuckoo flower. This area is home to lots of frog spawn in the spring. The common frog is our only frog species in Ireland, and the dampness of many of the habitats here at Abbeyleix Bog suit the species very well. The females lay their eggs in open water in the springtime. As the spring and summer wear on, the spawn develop into tailed tadpoles and eventually tiny four-legged tailless frog, which crawl and hop away into the various habitats surrounding this area. We have one native species of reptile in Ireland, the beautiful common lizard. This creature looks like a typical lizard, with a long tail and body, and its grey-brown body shows shimmers of purple and green in the sunlight. The lizard is very shy, but they can occasionally be seen sunbathing on walkways to warm up and catch flies. Unusually, this Irish species gives birth to live young, and it has a wonderful trick to escape predators. If it's caught by its long, thin tail, it can shed it and escape, growing a new tail later. Bees, hoverflies, and other insects, including butterflies, can be found on special areas maintained for wildflowers, including devil's bit scabious, knapweed, and wild orchids. As the grasshoppers bask in the sun's warmth, they communicate with each other by rubbing their legs over their forewings, a process known as stridulation. The water-filled drains along these paths are a terrific spot for insects. The rich biodiversity of insect life includes the fierce great diving beetle. This creature is the largest beetle in Ireland, and it is very much at the top of the food chain in these drains. Its larvae can be 50 millimeters long and feed on tadpoles and small fish. Another notable water insect here is the scarily named water scorpion. They do have a painful bite, technically a sting, but this is much less harmful than a true scorpion sting. Dragonflies are very happy in this type of habitat, where their young can develop underwater in the drain. and adults can catch all the food they need nearby. Adult dragonflies are highly skilled flyers and can fly at speeds of 35 to 40 kilometers per hour. They can fly backwards and vertically, and they always catch their prey on the wing. They are ferocious predators, feeding on flies, wasps, mayflies, and butterflies. The most common species seen here is the four-spotted chaser. These are generally smaller and more delicate than the dragonflies. The most common species here being the common blue damselfly. And the large red damselfly. The re-wetting of Abbeyleix Bog has created the perfect conditions for bog vegetation to re-establish itself, which in turn has allowed for the amazing diversity on display. It has also created an unparalleled local amenity, something to be proud of in an age of continued natural destruction. And all of this has been achieved in a very short space of time. Between 2009, when the work truly began, and 2020. The active raised bog habitat on the bog increased from just over 1 hectare to just under 14 hectares. A staggering 1,130% increase.